All right, welcome to our panel here at DCentral Miami. So our topic for this session is investing in NFTs and play-to-earn gaming. So there are a lot of, I think, critical questions. I'm sure you guys, have a lot of burning questions that you want answered. Our panelists here are going to help us to answer those questions. So it's great to have so many friends and members, from all around the world here in the audience today. I'll be your moderator for this session. My name's Madhavji. I'm the managing partner at Blockchain Founders Fund, which invests in and venture builds top-tier startups. We also work with organizations such as the United Nations and INSEAD, and I serve on the board of two public companies in the blockchain space, CryptoStar, which is a Toronto Stock Exchange venture company, and Mechanical Technologies, which is a NASDAQ-listed company. And we're also one of the first investors, or we are the first investor in Splinterlands, which is one of the largest play-to-earn games in the world. Anyways, more importantly, we have an incredible panel here with us today. First, we've got Ilya, first we've got Eric Spivak, who's also known as Motivate. He's got a ton of experience in the space. We're going to look to him for a lot of insights in this. Ilya Abugov, who is from Sanctor Capital. And we've got Zachary Friedman, or Zach, from GDA Capital. So thanks so much for being here with us today. I want to jump right into it, and you can share sort of as we go through the questions more on what you guys are focused on. But I want to jump right into the current landscape of gaming and the major players. Just give us a bit of an idea so that we can then move into the investment, talk about the investment piece of this. We've seen over the past decade a major movement towards free-to-play gaming, and then from pay-to-play. And now that's sort of starting, I think, into play-to-earn gaming. So maybe Zachary, you could set the stage for us. Maybe just share a little bit about play-to-earn gaming, what you're seeing in the space, areas that you're more interested in from that perspective.
Awesome. Hello, everyone, and welcome. Thanks for tuning in. So I think the phenomenon of play-to-earn, if I were to look around this room and ask maybe obviously a more relevant demographic here, most people globally, that is, had not heard of play-to-earn 6, 8, 10 months ago. This is really a new, quickly emerging sector under kind of the Web3 umbrella, and that ties into digital assets. That's extremely exciting. It's really on the evolution of pay-to-play, where players are able to actually spend their time today to earn real in-game rewards and currency. So the Axie Infinity phenomenon is really what kind of characterized the massive growth of this, where we've seen about 2 million players enter into the ecosystem, and a lot of byproducts and companies coming in to support the growth of that ecosystem. And I'm sure we'll get into it today. There's a lot of amazing applications, developers, guilds, and things that are helping to kind of shape and build that landscape. Really excited. I think we're in the very early stages of what that ecosystem looks like. And projects that are coming out regularly continue to provide novel concepts and ideas that are showing that. And this Axie phenomenon was so large that you have, I believe there's hundreds of thousands of players in the Philippines, that the Philippines government even are starting to enact taxes for these players who are earning this currency, which is so, I think, powerful to consider that the landscape in these third world countries, which is where a lot of this growth has kind of started with these players, is able to really shift a government policy just based on kind of the economic principles and the gain that's been derived. So that's just a little taste, and I'll pass it over. You guys want to add any color there on the landscape?
So for me, I think that a lot of it is about the fact that play to earn as a term is new, but the concept has been around for ages now. If you've played games like MMORPG, like old games like, I don't know, RuneScape, World of Warcraft, Guild Wars, you've noticed that there were in-game economies, live in-game economies with currencies, with items that were all there, but because of how technology was back then and how kind of publishers controlled a lot of it, it was hard for players to kind of monetize their time and their efforts within those games. And so those economies remained locked, and they were kind of, there was stuff that's happening around, but it was hard for it to bloom. NFT technology, by kind of transferring ownership over a lot of this to the players, has kind of unlocked that economy. And I think that this is why these use cases make so much sense to gamers, and this is why the onboarding experience is a little bit easier than, let's say, for DeFi, because for gamers, this has been kind of a use case that was so organic. This was needed. This isn't hard to explain to traditional gamers, because this is just part of what they were doing. They just didn't have these tools to unlock a lot of what they were playing and doing in the past.
So is this system better? I guess, is it better than free to play?
Absolutely. I mean, I personally, like, just as he just mentioned, I used to set up players with ways of monetizing their time and effort, especially in the games that you would pay to play, right? I was like, well, why not get paid to play? And this small little company called PayPal, way back when I was 17, 18, allowed me to make more money than both of my parents combined, teamed with this game by Sony Online Entertainment called EverQuest, which was kind of the precursor to World of Warcraft. And between Diablo, StarCraft, EverQuest, and a few other games, I was creating these back channels and forums and blogs and sites that were basically allowing me to monetize my time for playing these stupid games that aren't going to equate to anything other than leadership skills and typing speed and a lot of other things that were really valuable. So I think now we're seeing more than ever with NFT projects where I would say a good 60% of these roadmaps include some form of gamification or gaming component. And I don't think that's by accident. I think everybody understands the fun factor and the layers and levels of adding this component to it, mixed with the financial side, incentivizing the whole thing. It's just it's a perfect harmony that's being created in this space right now.
And I can probably add on that. I think it's very interesting the way the landscape is shaped today, especially compared to traditional games. I think that a lot of these play-to-earn games are still so early. They're being built a lot more based on economic principles and by crypto natives than by gaming natives. So that huge wave of talent, that are really capable and able to develop, these amazing graphics and these amazing gameplay and design, they haven't yet come into the space, but this whole emergence and this these early adopters are totally captivated alone just by the crypto economics woven in, and that novelty play is what's driving a lot of this demand and growth today.
Fantastic. So, I mean, if play to earn is so good, and a lot of us are investing in it, why aren't the major players in the gaming industry building play to earn games, or are they?
Yeah, they're definitely coming. Like, if you thought any industry was behind, it's definitely not gaming. It's normally adult entertainment, gambling, and esports now, or gaming and online, massive multiplayer online formats. You've seen it through Fortnite, you've seen it in so many different games recently, where they're taking the DLC to a whole nother level, and then they're also making sure that you're in your chair longer and at least being compensated for it in a different way that incentivizes the person to be more, I guess, unfortunately or fortunately, for lack of a better term, addicted to the game, right?
Well,
go ahead.
what I would add here is that for the big AAA publishers, right, there's a number of challenges for them transferring over to the play to earn as we understand it right now in crypto, because they have to change their existing monetization model, right? And so they don't want to just jump into something and completely undermine what they have. So they have to kind of take it in steps. The other thing, they have a certain expectation in quality. Publishers like Ubisoft, even if they're working on this stuff, they can't just publish a raw game and have everybody forgiven for it. There's a certain expectation of quality there. The other side is kind of, there's a, legal uncertainty that, smaller startups may be okay with taking that risk. For bigger publishers, especially if they're public companies, that might be a challenge that they're, working around and, trying to understand how to work with. So there's a number of steps that kind of bigger publishers are forced to work with. And so kind of the avant-garde within crypto is kind of able to propel it faster.
No, absolutely. I mean, we're seeing it in our portfolio, right? So we actually have a lot of conversations with heads of innovation from a lot of the biggest, gaming studios in the world, a lot of the biggest Fortune 500s. And so we've actually already got, confidentially, a number of pilots going with some of the biggest companies in the world. So we are seeing it happen with our portfolio companies. I am curious, just keeping in mind, we've been talking about play to earn gaming. There's the entire NFT side as well. If we go to the larger NFT side, is it because is there utility? Because like on the gaming side, I think it's very clear to a lot of our audience that there's going to be, you can use it in game. What about the rest of the industry and investing in that side? Is there a utility problem?
No, I mean, I think use cases and utility is happening every day in mass. I think it's actually, it's exploding because of the fact that people understand how many different mechanisms and layers that you can apply to any of these things. So, a game uses audio, it uses visual, it can use 3D or 2D animated, it can do story building and character development. Then that means you have copywriting, right? There's the different attributes of those characters, each one being a unique piece of art. Literally, if you strip down everything just like you would a song to the stems of acapellas and verses, you have the writers, you have the top liners, you have the mixes and masters, and that's essentially what you can invest in on these projects and have a say in the storyline of them. Like, think about the Street Fighter or Tekken or some like legacy brand game series like Mario or whatever, It's literally limitless opportunities right now from all angles, from the player to the producers and studios.
Absolutely. So actually, if we go to Zach and Ilya, maybe we can move more directly into the investment side. Tell us about an investment that you've made that you're super excited about, or that has been a highlight for you in the NFT or play to earn space.
So for us, I like the term, we back projects in kind of a number of different sides, right? There's infrastructure projects, which we're very excited about in the NFT space, and I think that kind of gets overlooked a little bit. NFT is a technology, right? And it allows people to do exciting things with it. There's gaming use cases, there's DeFi use cases as well. And so one of the things we're really excited about is backing projects that are kind of unlocking further functionality, further possibility. One project, is Coin Network, which kind of works as an infrastructure project on top of Arweave. And during our Sanctor Turbo demo day a few months back, they demoed a dynamic NFT, for instance, right, that is able to react to things in real time and change, right? It becomes kind of a living organism, if you will. We back projects like Remark that working on infrastructure side on the Kusama Polkadot ecosystem. We also back kind of platform plays, games, metaverses. So there's kind of, when it comes to NFTs, NFTs is a tech, and it's important to understand that it is a technology that has many implementations. And so we like to look at it more, I guess, in a traditional sense of different verticals, gaming, collectibles, art, social, and then see kind of NFT implementations in there, as opposed to kind of seeing NFT as a sector of its own, I would say.
Awesome, yeah, and I totally tend to agree with that. I think under GDA and under our umbrella, we've made a lot of infrastructure investments into different marketplaces, platforms that are really innovating at the edge. The metaverse is an awesome category we've been really focused on. We're currently one of the largest holders of metaverse land in the world under our portfolio. We recently completed a $2.4 million purchase in the fashion district in DeCentral, and the venture that we're kind of investing our capital through, the Metaverse Group, is really focused on actually being a land developer to create experiences in the metaverse on which these games and applications, layers, and brands can bring experiences to their audiences and bring users into the metaverse. But really, it does span across the whole thing. I think that the infrastructure tooling is really necessary to bring adoption into the mainstream, and we're really heavily invested on not just investing, but actually supporting these businesses, bring them the right corporate partners and studio needs and requirements to kind of get their projects and awareness out there.
Eric, what's an investment you're proud of in the space? What's a highlight?
Oh man, well, because a lot of these derivative projects have started within my walls, with having the largest NFT and DeFi community, I get a lot of early access, and I get to understand the mechanics of things and help shape their products / goods / services. And I guess I've built 6 different metaverses at this point. I've tried Somnium, I've tried all of them, and customizing the opportunity to create a digital landscape with whatever your heart desires is just a incredible feeling to have such control over your creativity and expression like that. So I'd say my favorite investment would probably be into the Frogland or Force NFT collections, because I've been able to also help simultaneously support and shape brand and community and help them transition from digital to physical with live events. And so, yeah.
I'd love to hear about some of your investments. You have an awesome portfolio.
Awesome, yeah, happy to share. I mean, there's a lot of different things that we've been excited about across the NFT space, right? Investing in the NFT space over 3 years ago. I mean, Splinterlands is obviously a highlight. I know many of you probably here play it. We've got now, when we came in, they basically was right at the start. We've now got 1.5 million accounts. I think today there was 465,000 people playing, which is pretty cool. But what's been really cool about that one is the impact it's making on people, right? So we actually had one of the largest family offices in the Philippines call us, last month and say, how do we get involved? Everyone we're talking to is playing this game. And that's a pretty cool sign when they message every single person on your team trying to get on a call with you. And there was a really cool NASDAQ article, some of you might have seen, that came out a month ago on Splinterlands, where someone was explaining their story of starting with $10 in the game, and they've never put any more money into it, and it's worth $17,000 in assets now, which is pretty cool. So there's a lot of really, really good stuff happening there. But we've also backed, a ton of other really, really exciting games. We've got a company called Dogami building the Petaverse instead of the Metaverse for pet owners and all sorts of other stuff. So a lot of really cool backers, including, traditional massive gaming studios coming into that one. We've got companies in the music NFT space, augmented reality, even companies working on essentially what we call non-fungible intelligence, or the ability to use GPU miners to essentially train any NFT to do all sorts of different functions. So there's a lot of really, really cool stuff that's happening. But let's go back, instead of on me, to the rest of our panel before we wrap up. So just looking at the future of this industry and investing in it, right? So what are some things that you're looking at, in terms of really cool opportunities that, haven't been fully baked yet? So what are you excited about, and what are some of the challenges as well that you might be seeing that need to get solved for those things to say happen?
Yeah, I mean, I'm really excited for interoperability. I think that there's a lack of communication, and that gap is all of these different chains and exchanges and coins and more that need to be adopted on a wider scale. I've dropped projects on Solana, on Ethereum. There's 3 Bitcoin platforms launching soon. I even have willdogecoin.com. I made an animated character with a voiceover, and it's Will Dogecoin. And then the SEO that comes from everybody typing in Will Dogecoin do XYZ, I benefit from. But anyways, I'm looking forward to just more risk taking in the biz dev and development side of things, and having more founders that are less afraid of trying different chains if it doesn't work, Algorand, like across the board. And I think we need that at the end of the day. Rarible and OpenSea already aggregate from anything that's minted, and you have like Try Showtime that also does a good job. But it's a conversation that needs to be had, and it needs to happen like yesterday, honestly.
I will actually second that and maybe go further. I think when we talk about interoperability, we often think about communicating between chains. But I think as virtual worlds basically become their own layers where you can build on top of them and interact with them, we're going to need to see interoperability between those different virtual worlds and the different games. And I think that's going to be an important theme of the future, and we're really excited about the tech that's kind of being built around that. And then the other thing that I would say is, we're starting to see kind of little sprouts of DeFi and components of that being built around the metaverse, because it is, metaverse and gaming, they have their own economies, and so they start to demand the tooling and the infrastructure for it. But I think kind of the big hurdle we need to overcome is, how do we value NFTs, right? How do we value truly rare things? We've seen things with indexing and like NFTX trying to value floors, and that, that gets us part of the way. But it'll be really important that we establish methodologies, credible methodologies for how do we value up and down the rarity tiers, because that's where that's where the market kind of is thinking in that direction.
Awesome. Yeah, I'll stick on. I don't have much time, so the kind of play to earn evolution topic, which personally I think I'm really excited about skill-based play to earn and everything that's going to bring towards the ecosystem. Right now you're contributing time to earn these rewards, but as soon as you start to include skill base involved, you'll start to have the whole esports leagues coming up. You'll have the entire marketing and branding and the kind of, you evolve and mimic what we're currently seeing in the esports world. There's such a massive vertical in industry. I take we're out of time, so I'll kind of leave it briefly with that. But
Yeah, I'll just quickly add on to that. Something that we're pretty excited about is continue to build more utility with NFTs, right? So we've even got a really cool company that's actually launching a lot of really cool 2D games where you can connect any NFT in the world and launch a game in 5 minutes. So there's some cool stuff like that, but we got lots of other really fascinating things. I talked a little bit about non-fungible intelligence and leveling the playing field so everyone can create bots essentially and train them themselves. So there's a lot of really, really exciting things in the pipeline, but we've got to wrap up there. So this has been a very insightful discussion from our incredible panelists. Thank you so much. I can personally say that I've learned a lot, and I'm sure our audience will agree as well. And I'm encouraged by where this industry is going and a lot of the opportunities that are happening. If you do have any questions, you want to come by, just feel free to stop and chat with any of us after the panel. There's many other incredible presentations and panels from experts all around the world remaining here today at DCentral Miami. So what better way than to stick around, learn from many of the experts here, and thank you so much for taking the time today.
Thank you, guys.